Well, a very good evening to you, and once again, a very warm welcome to you. You know that when you hear this nice melody of Vose Mahlasela, is that time of the evening for exclusive talk, and as convention would have it every Wednesday, you would have by now been accustomed that we talk of issues of gender-based violence as we try to make our little contribution to combat the scourge of the GBV that is ravaging our country. However, this evening we are coming to you. We have a very special broadcast. We have a special program today, as you would have heard earlier on, that as we explained with the colleagues, that the Premier has delivered his maiden state of the province address here in Gauteng. And this evening I have a very special guest with me to unpack the state of the province address as delivered by Premier Panyaza Lesufi. So with me today to unpack that address, we have Soli Msimanga, the leader of the official opposition in Gauteng legislature. And a very good evening to you, sir, and welcome to Garangwa FM.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and to the listeners to Garangwa FM. Indeed, a great pleasure to be here this evening.
Indeed, Msimanga. And of course, this program, this show would not be complete without your participation in it. And to participate in the program, please do call us later on the 0723 390-0474 as we'll be engaging with Msimanga as we unpack the state of the provincial address. But of course, as before we start, a big shout out to my colleague here and my brother and sister for once more again rendering a very wonderful and impeccable afternoon drive. Horoha o Bolokesegile. Msimanga. At the start, perhaps let's look at this. Why is it important for our resident or someone listening to us here in Garangwa, Mamelodi, wherever they may be? Why it is important that our resident must be concerned about the state of the province?
Well, let's take it back to 1995.
Yeah.
Ndate Mandela decided back then that he wanted to run an accountable government, a government that would not only on a yearly basis before the work of government starts for the year, would be able to then set the tone.
Yes.
And the following year, he will then give a report of what has transpired a year before, and then what is the plan then going forward, and how do we then build on what we started. So that's where it started.
Yes.
And then you would remember in South Africa we run what we call a three-sphere governance, where you have the national government, you have the provincial government, and then you have the local government.
Yes.
So in that instance, what then started happening, the president will start giving the state of the province, state of the nation address that will normally happen in the first or the second week, February.
Yes.
And then the rest of the February month and March, we will then have the provincial state of the state of the province addresses in all 9 provinces, which will then be followed by the state of the city's address after that. It is important to take that into consideration. What feedback are we being given? Are we being given feedback? Last year, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Before where are we? Did we achieve the 10 promises that we made to you last year?
True. Yes.
So if I said, no, I am going to build or I'm going to refurbish George Mukari Hospital, next year, before I do anything else, I must tell you, what have I done with George Mukari?
Yes.
That is why it is important to listen to the state of the city or the state of the province or the state of the nation address, so that politicians can then account for not only, or they cannot sell you dreams, but they should account for what they have done and what are the new priorities or the continuation then going forward.
Yeah. Okay. Now, your overall impression of the address by the premier, was it realistic? Was it believable? Or was it just electioneering?
Well, look, I mean, for now it is said that these are now used not to do what Dr. Nelson Mandela, thought of right Komatomo when these things were started.
Yeah.
Initially, as I said, these were conceptualized to give people a real account of what is happening, a real account of what is achievable and what are the plans going forward.
Yes.
Now, let's jump straight into this state of the province address.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, we've already identified with the team in my office that, and 90% of the things that he says they will do are things that they said 6-7 years ago that they will do. The question is, how far have they gone in achieving any of that?
Yes.
So he speaks about fighting crime, which is something that Makura, before that Lesufi came in, has been talking about endlessly.
Yes.
And we've been saying, look, stop talking about it and stop introducing or talking about introduction of all these gadgets. This new Karankua police station never used to have electricity for almost a year. But we want to introduce the drone. You want to introduce drones? Well, you cannot do even the basic of ensuring that policemen and women have electricity. They don't have to use torches. They don't have to use their cell phone, to take cell phone torches to take the statement. They don't have to go and ask the neighbors to give them electricity to charge their phones. And you want to talk about then introducing drones. You want to talk about introducing panic buttons. Now, the same panic buttons that you're saying residents are going to get. So you press that panic button right now. What are the police supposed to be responding with? On wings of angels. These are things that we are saying. Fix the basics first. One of the things that we have said for a very, very long time is let's make sure that we increase the number of men and women in uniform. Number one. Number two, continuous training of men and women in uniform. Number three, have a number of units will be able to then deal with specialized crimes. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. If you go to places like your El Dorado Park, to your Wattville areas, every single day, without failure, every single day since late last year, 2-3 people are killed every single day. Now, we're saying, and this is gang related, part of what you need to do is to make sure that you have a gang unit in your South African police service within the province that is able to tackle this kind of crimes. The second part is you need to have what we call the infrastructure patrolling unit. Yes, you can introduce the drone, but make sure men and women, 4x4, but patrol. And I'm saying the 4x4 specifically because some of our infrastructure, areas you cannot access by a normal car. Now we're talking about your electricity infrastructure, we're talking about our water infrastructure, we're even talking about the cell towers. Part of what is being stolen on an ongoing basis, the batteries within the cell towers. Now, if you start looking at those things, you start looking at where even some of the criminals are hiding. They go and commit crimes in the city center, in Kamkharangkua, but they go and hide somewhere in the bushes. You need to have the ability for you to be able to then do that. So that's what we are saying we need to introduce. Now, we welcome the fact that he's talking about the 6,000 patrollers. But now we don't want Banababorona, those 6,000 young men and women, to become now sitting ducks and victims of, trying to report crime or to try and report the things that are happening. What you want is that there should be enough men and women in uniform that are able to respond quicker. Because right now, I can tell you, if you dial 1011 now, see how long it takes for you to get an answer. And when you get an answer, they still have to patch you to a particular a police station that will be able to then assist you. And this is one of the things that we have been talking about. Now, let's move beyond the issue, the crime. And also, before Gelebala, one of the other problems that we're having here in Gauteng, you know, the issue of gender-based violence is very, very rife.
Yes, yes.
And unfortunately and very shockingly, if you go to our police stations right now, mostly, they don't have people that are trained specifically to deal with victims. If you do have them, these people work office hours. So if you are raped now, if you are victimized now, you will not be assisted until tomorrow.
So they don't work according to the schedule
because
like
they're not,
police.
Because they're not even enough.
Oh.
So they're not even enough to start off with. So first of all, you need to make sure. You see, Tawata policing. It's a 24-hour thing. It's an everyday thing. You cannot have a certain number of hours where you are doing issues somehow. It's a 24-hour living, breathing thing. You need to make sure you are there all the time. Now, part of what you now need to do to make sure there are enough people to deal with these things. Social workers, counselors that are supposed to be dealing with these matters, people that are trained to deal with children who are traumatized. People who are able to deal with women who are raped. You need to know what to do and what not to do in order to not contaminate evidence, relational evidence. Now, in certain police stations, we've been to Hillbrow as an example, Hillbrow police station, where we are told, no, after 5 o'clock, no, you need to come back tomorrow. And there are certain days in the week, this person is not here, is in another police station to then go and look at cases in that area. Now, that is why the issues, sometimes the cases are gender-based violence. They drag on so long or they end up being lost because of we failing the victims. We are saying to Lesufi, these are the basics that you need to be looking at. Oscar, what's I mean, you're telling us got a chopper. 2 choppers in the whole of Gauteng. While but Mapolisa Amoharanku are still saying the defendants are not the guy, so that we're able to have visible policing on the ground. So that's what we need to have. Another unit that you need to have as well, what we call the cash in transit. Because in South Africa right now, cash in transits are very, very high, and especially in Gauteng. What we now need to do is to make sure that there is that unit that looks into that. So we're saying, before you introduce all these nice things, before you introduce all these new shiny things, do the basics. I'll tell you another example. He says, no, we want to build new schools. Now, we want to welcome the building of new schools. But the problem is this year. How are Quatridgeville? There's 2 schools, Quatridgeville. Have been vandalized. And right now, they're not being used. There's a school, Kamo Mabopan. Same thing. 2 schools, Mamelodi. And this is just now, the township, and this is the Premier Panyaza with government. The government Yarona is very good at building, very bad at maintaining. Because Achona Chele the maintaining. Chele go it's something that costs 2 million, but no, it's 20 million. And then after more, they forget about it, they move on to the next thing, and then move on to the next thing. Forgetting or no, that which we've built, we must maintain. This is why even things we inherited apartheid are now falling apart.
Are you then saying that the state of public infrastructure, which is in decay, is done by design and deliberate, so that we just throw in the javelin forward?
The fact you don't even have a maintenance plan. It means it's by design. We have said, this is what I've said, and I'm saying this again tomorrow in the debate. Have what we call a infrastructure plan, master plan. When you have an infrastructure master plan, it will tell you electricity, this is my infrastructure. This is when it was installed. This is the capability or the capacity you're taking. This is when it needs to be maintained. And by this time, I need to then start upgrading, or I need to then change this infrastructure. Water, the same thing. Roads, the same thing. You then say, these are the schools that I have. These are the clinics that I have. These are the hospitals that I have. These are the libraries that I have. In the libraries, these are the books that I have. Right now, as I'm talking to you, Gauteng doesn't have even a master plan when it comes to the IT. So now, IT, your phone every other year becomes obsolete because you need to upgrade it. That's how technology moves. But then they don't even have And they don't even have an IT master plan for that. Now, that's the problem. Build capacity more. You know what you have. And believe you me, if we do that as a province, it then forces the municipalities to also follow suit. To then say, if Gauteng as a province, at a provincial level, this is where we're saying we are going. Municipality, tell us how you're contributing to the master plan. So, Tshwane, how are you making sure for the water that is going to Hammanskraal, that we inherited and we're still being blamed for, but it's the story for another day. The water in Hammanskraal, the electricity, last week in Nalwena, you were telling me there were people who were calling and saying, no, we're having an issue of ESCOM connections here, electricity. We need to then say, from a Gauteng perspective, where is the infrastructure? Where are we going? What are the... If you don't even know what you have, how do you know how to maintain it, and how do you know what is the backlog? That is part of the challenge, and we've said once you know that, you will then have a master plan in terms of its maintenance, in terms of then how you build on top of that, so that you're able to then give more people services. The other issue that for me came out very, very strong is, and we don't get me wrong, we welcome the talk of building new schools, but I'm saying we need to then make sure we invest in the already existing school infrastructure. And then not only in the building, but in the quality of teaching. Now, batswadi ba borona gona byanong o ntsha ngwana mo Garankuwa a fete dikolo, the whole of Garankuwa, a fete Roslyn and all of those things, ngwana to go to a town school. And it's not an issue of doesn't know the schools along the way. It's the perception of where my child is going, there'll be better education, there'll be discipline, there'll be safety. We need to then talk to those things. And this is what we were saying to Ntate Lesufi. Let's look at these things as the basics before you start talking about all this nice to have. That's the other thing. Now, the last issue that I want to touch on, ketaba electricity. We have for years have been saying, look, South Africa is in serious trouble when it comes to the provision of electricity. We are expanding as a nation. But we haven't been able to then keep up with expansion. What we now need to do, we need to then ensure that we are building plants, but not only building plants, but we also refurbishing again what we have. So right now, it's down. Kusile, it's down. This one is done. They need to be, maintained, or they need to be. Actually, now they're not even maintaining. What they're doing is just to put a plaster on top of a broken infrastructure. So, in certain instances, you find that some of these things have to be rebuilt. And it's going to take time. And this is why we said, then let's introduce what we call the independent power producers. Your independent power producers like Kobe Kelvin, Kempton Park, there's a place called Kelvin Gagwa. You already have those who are saying we are able to produce electricity on our own. There are people who are interested, Kobo Roy Valley, people who are interested, Kopitora Wese, there were people who are interested, Ko Bromo Spreti, just to give you the ones, Mopitoria, who are saying, no, you already have the infrastructure. I'll say because it's old. Give it to us, not give it, but let's take over. We'll fix it, we'll run it, and then we will then share with the municipality the profit, but you will not run out of electricity. Now, these are some of the things that we have been talking about. Now, he makes an announcement to say 800 million, money to build 800 megawatts of solar plant in Mogale is going to be put underway. Now, this is something that Makuru announced actually 4 years ago, and nothing has been done. So this is why we are saying you need to then account for what you have done, and then say this is what we're going to do. But of interest again, he then talks about how you're going to have RDP houses that are going to be using your fingerprint to open the doors.
Yes.
And then
talk to us about that.
And I'm like, what is that? First of all, you cannot even provide the same RDP houses, some of them with the basic thing, electricity. Then you're saying they're going to have fingerprint detection doors.
Yeah.
Now, Right here, there used to be a project that was supposed to have built 1,000 houses, RDP houses.
Yeah, zone 10.
Yes,
Zone
and
9.
it was vandalized.
Yeah, now it's zone 10.
And we said the challenge there was that provinces planning this way, the municipalities planning the other way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, having a master plan.
Yeah.
If you don't have a master plan, you will not be able to then get it right. Gauteng, as we speak, has 1.15 million backlog in terms of housing demand. But 1.15 million. But Gauteng as a whole can only build 30,000 units a year.
Yeah.
So it means, or even if you were to do anything and everything, you will not be able to match up with building that.
Yes.
But if you don't have a master plan, you will not be able to then say, maybe let's try alternative ways of accommodating and building for people. Maybe this thing, the individual houses is not working. How about we build the high risers? Then that becomes part of the plan. Then you communicate with your municipality. Municipality, we are going to be building the high risers, extension 16 or wherever. We want you to have bulk. Bulk electricity. We want you to make sure the are going to be sufficient. We want you to make sure you will also be able to then build a clinic, or will be able to build some other social amenities around that area. These are the kind of plans that we now need to be talking to. The basic plans that we now need to be getting on the go. But unfortunately, as we get closer and closer to elections, you will hear more ridiculous proposals and promises being made. We hear now of a train. Remember that Ramaphosa Thomas spoke about the bullet train. From here to KZN. So Yanda Ramaphosa etwa Gauteng iya KZN, Yanda Lesufi etwa Gauteng iya Limpopo. So and not even a single thing has been done. But here's the thing: the same day as I was talking about the train. You must remember the legislature building is in the next to the Nelson Mandela Bridge. And underneath the Nelson Mandela Bridge, we do have the train station there. It's closer to Braamfontein. As he was speaking, there were people outside Kakwale taking out the sporo, the overlines.
But this thing still continuing.
It's still continuing. At the same time as he's talking about this dream station or dream train. And I'm saying, where is this train going to run? If you are failing to take care of already what you have in existence, how are you then dealing with these other issues? And these are things, I've said to you last week, we need to have a serious conversation about what government is and what government should do. Politics aside, what is it that we need to be talking about and achieving, and how should we be accounting to residents? And it goes to that very first point we just saying, when we say we are accounting the beginning of the year, state of the city address, state of the province address, state of the nation address, what is it that we're telling? And our people keeping us to account for that? Because we find that politicians are easy to lie. And make you new promises every year, or even promise you the same thing without doing anything. Because we are not asking, but hang on. Last year, you said this, and nothing of it has come out. Last year, as an example, they said, no, we'll fight crime. We are ready to fight crime. The whole province only bought 50 cars, some Polish last year.
In Gauteng.
The whole Gauteng, they only bought 50 new vehicles. It's not even near enough to cover Garankuwa.
No, true.
It's not even near enough to cover Garankuwa, but the whole province bought 50 cars. But they said to us, we are serious about fighting crime. So now we are told, no, we are buying, we are promised 400, and I want people to be making notes of this. We are promised 400 before the end of the financial year. We are promised two choppers. We are promised the panic button per family or per home. We are promised 6,000 patrollers. Let's see.
One wonders how really this is going to be practical, especially this thing of panic buttons and so on. But how then do we, as the legislature, how then do we make sure that you have active citizenry that understand their rights and are able to hold their leaders to accountable?
Well, there's quite a number of things that needs to be done. The legislature, first of all, are open to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
As the municipal councils are, as parliament is supposed to.
Yeah.
So you suppose, unless if there's what we call the closed sessions.
Okay.
But the usual deliberations should not actually be closed to the
Yeah,
public. This is why you have Parliament TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was actually a move to then have the legislature TV. And Tshwane was supposed to have, through, the Tshwane TV was supposed to have the council sittings televised. And I've been asking for that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that people can then say, but did I vote for this man? If you see somebody misbehaving, you must then ask, because that's part of accounting.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I really vote for this kind of things to be happening? For people who instead of being constructive in terms of what we now need to be doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we need to be looking at. That's number one. So people must have access to what is being put out there. The second issue, all the documents of government are made public. So even the speech is actually public.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can then take Google and take the speech and then say, okay, I'm going to have this speech and Lesufi. Next year, I'm expecting to hear what is delivered on this day. Or even when we get to the adjustment budget.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is any of these things then, being realized?
Yeah, yeah.
If the economy is not going, as you said, no, we want to look at the township economy.
Yeah, yeah,
And the economy is not growing.
yeah.
What are you doing? Yes, there might be external factors that we do take, but what are you doing at a provincial level?
Yes, yes.
These are things that we need to look at. The ultimate way of getting people to account is when people know that they don't own your vote. I don't own your vote. And this is the education that we need to teach our people.
Yeah.
The thing no no, people must account for what they are doing, what they intend doing, and also they must also be able to then tell you how they resolve issues.
Yeah.
That's how you get to account for people. And if you voted Msimanga and then that 5-year period has come and gone, and then I'm not able to then account, you should then be asking yourself as a resident, is this person really worth my vote for another 5 years?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's where we now need to then have that conversation of accountability. You see, in the US, as an example, in a mature democracy, this is why you're able to have the Democrats lead the Republicans changing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if this one has a term or two and doesn't deliver, the other time,
yes,
maybe they're able to then get the economy going, they're able to then get the safety of the people going, and then so on and so forth. Donald Trump, there was regarded as one of the worst. That's why he only had one term.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before him, Barack Obama, who had 2 terms.
Yes, yes.
And then before that, not before Clinton, even Bush the second.
Bush, yes, yes.
Who also had a second term. So you can then see, okay, so somebody, then they look at the performance. In the UK, same thing. I know Runamo Africa, we are still our democracy is still maturing. And but we are gonna get to a situation where it will get to a point more there's not going to be a one-party dominance.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, when we get there, we need to make sure that our people are able to then hold those that they elect into office to account.
Yeah.
And that might mean, or at some point, that's down the line, we might need to re-look at how people that go to parliament, people that go to the legislature are actually even elected. It might need to happen, or no, it needs to be constituency based.
Yeah, yeah.
If Kenya go represent the Harangua,
yes, yes.
go parliament, do I know Harangua?
Yeah.
Do I know Harangua? Do I know the issues to Harangua? Do I know the issues to Mawika? Let me put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
If I want to be a member of parliament, the excitement, liberation is starting to fade. Yes. And then we get to a stage where now we get to the serious business of the day.
Yes, yes.
And what is said in that book, the the failure for liberation movement to transform into parties of government is what leads to most of them, if not all of them, to not be able to then govern on their own past 30 years. The first, I would say the first 15, 20 years, people are lenient, people are more forgiving to then say, okay, we're still learning this thing. We're still this, we're still that, we're still that. But then things start falling apart. Zimbabwe was called the breadbasket of Africa. Zimbabwe was the biggest producer of tobacco in Africa and in the southern hemisphere. Zimbabwe used to feed not only the southern Africa, but used to even feed, when there's crisis, it used to feed a lot of countries. Ethiopia, Ethiopia, they used to get a lot of maize and grain from here. Right now, they cannot even feed themselves. They don't even have electricity half the time. Aren't we heading there?
The signs are there, slowly but surely. Coming back to SOPA, and I would like us to venture into this thing of economic development of the province and empowerment of previously disadvantaged. But before we venture into that, let's now remind our listeners that you are indeed listening to Garankuwa FM, and in studio with the official leader of the opposition in Gauteng, Msimanga, as the DA leader in Gauteng. And if you would want to make your contribution, please do call us on 4074. Issue of numbers. Please do call in and pose your question or comment to Msimanga on those numbers. Now, looking at the SOPA on the issue of economic development, and which is also a matter that we touched a little bit last week. The intention there, it would seem that is not to build industrialists. It's not to build real entrepreneurs. But just consumers of goods.
And you see, this is why I found it very depressing that the Premier's plan for township is to refurbish this spaza shop. Now, we ask questions, Jorge. Let's look at some of the spaza shops that are there. Spaza shops are
Yes.
Most of the time, it's in somebody's either back room or in the garage.
Yes.
When you're talking about refurbishing that, what are you saying? Are you refurbishing the house? Are you refurbishing part of the house? And when you say now you're giving internet to that spaza shop, are you giving internet only for that house? Are you giving internet for that community in the area? These are things that we need to be asking. And I found that as a very, very pathetic and lazy way of thinking. I spoke to you last week, or part of what we now need to do, go to Soweto, Orlando, Feta Stadium. There's an Orlando industrial area. We can say whatever we want, apartheid, and say apartheid this, apartheid that. If there was one thing that they were able to do is to think ahead and plan and execute in that way. I'll go for the example. If Utsamayaka Oya Soweto, next to Soweto, Orlando Stadium, there's Orlando industrial area. There is a train station. Number one. How's an Ridgeville, go Soulsville. There's the Soulsville station. There is the Soulsville industrial hub. How we are go Hammanskrala. Go Babeli. Kamumraga kwalo no honale station ka kwalo. How we hape coming to here ko Temba. All these, and then Kamuharanku zone 16 but it's not operating as it's supposed to be operating. And I doubt Khorbatova operator Mola Some of them are even legal South Africans that should be operating there without any kind of rental that we are benefiting from. Let me say to you that what you would want to see happening is the refurbishment of the industrial areas still in our townships. And then also to then say, okay, we are going to refurbish this. Now, people ba bana le mokgoni ba lokisa dikoloi. People ba bana le mokgoni ba go baker, ba go aga furniture, ba go ira this, ba go ira that. Come. We are fixing this. Come and tell us what you are able to do. You then say, okay, so I'm giving you not only a four-walled space, but I'm going to make sure, because you said this is what you are capable of doing, we need to make sure that you get accredited training for what you're doing. Over and above that, once you got accredited training, you need to make sure you are training others, meaning you then employ others. For me, that's a real job. Let me tell you the history. That industrial area used to be like that. Quadridgeville Industry, Kokososville. How there used to be ISCO. The ISCO industrial area. ISCO used to employ. ISCO used to be something called Console. Console used to employ 8,000 people. How to akamu console o tsena ka mo iskoro? Yes. How to akamu iskoro o tsena ka mo PNP? Ai ka mo console o tsena ka mo PNP. PNP used to be government owned, used to employ thousands. How to akamu PNP o tsena ka mo iskoro? Iskoro used to employ tens of thousands of people. Baba tswang Mabopane, Atteridgeville, Soshanguve, Mamelodi, ba ne ba tla ka train in the morning. E ba dropa right mo pele ha factory. E ba dropa right mo pele the industrial area. That's why I'm saying there was a plan. There was an idea. Iseng hore re tlo lokela internet ka mo spazeng sa hao gore when you want to order or government wants to ordering as government department ka mo spaze shop o mara tle batho mamodimo. Some of these things we must then also start to interrogate. But let's go and say, how do we then get this economy going? I've spoken about, existing infrastructure that can be turned into zones for the industry. And then you then say, municipality, we are giving you these industries. What we are wanting you to do, declare them as special economic zones. What do I mean? Rates and taxes go, so that your black young person business doesn't have to worry about the cost a high bill working the rates and taxes. Yes, I might put a prepaid electricity meter or at least it can control electricity. But then you then say, in terms of the taxes, I will reduce that so that you are attracted to come and be here. But not only that, Ford is investing, BMW is invested. You then go to these big companies and say, we have this young industrialists, they are coming up. Can we partner you with them? Can we go to some of the insurance companies and say to the insurance companies, we have people that have been trained, number one. Number two, have secure places. Number three, have the right skills. Then we're able to then take, some initiative. For me, that's how you begin to then talk about the economy, the growth of the economy. Now, we hear of the state-owned bank and his rationale for the state-owned bank. Or forum houses, people want to expand into Zavon. Therefore, we need a state bank to be able to then give them the loans to expand into Zavon. What thinking is that, Clevato? What thinking is that? You should be borrowing money not because you want to extend and to fail. Because how extend and to, or I do my cheleto but to extend and to. The moment of Palakopatela cheleto, your house is gone. Right now, we should be talking about how do we borrow money to make money. South Africa is in deep debt. 82% of our GDP, our debt, or our debt, debt to GDP is 82%. So go to Chile we run. Go fail. 82% they are there.
Service debt.
That's not how you grow the economy.
Yeah,
And you know how that we're talking about bana ba bo rona, 1 in 3 people in South Africa is on some kind of a grant.
Yeah.
1 in 3.
Yeah.
1 in 3. That's for me. That talks about a failing state.
Yes.
You can't have so many people ba le gore they're dependent on the state ka taba di grant. Yes, montate mogolo wa rona, bokoko wa rona, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
And bana ba bo rona, we want to assist, but then you can't be proud or you have so many people that are getting the grant. You should be proud or you are reducing the number. Yeah, but while they are dependent on granting.
Yes,
350, which 350 or reka
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, how can 350 go tswa mo o tsena ka mo shopong ka mola ke lofo ke team tse pedi. Yes, I'm not undermining the importance of, or at least it gives people seshabo, or if somebody took le broto, but it's not a livable amount.
But, I mean, someone was saying that actually that 350, you are actually postponing a problem of today for tomorrow.
Yes, because what is happening is that we continue to borrow so that we can give money away.
Yeah.
We are not borrowing to build industries.
Yes.
We are not borrowing so that we can build infrastructure.
Yeah.
We are borrowing so that we can give the 350 away. Initially, they said no, this is just a gap measure.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
And then it got to the stage more, no, let's continue the 350.
Yeah.
But we are continuing at the 350, but we are not talking about a plan. To stop Suzanne to rely on 350.
Yeah.
The child grant. But taxi comes off the system is a contributor.
Yes.
And once you start being a contributor, then then we're able to then pay much more money towards infrastructure development. Now, that is the thinking we need to have.
Yeah.
I said one of the things we must really own up to.
Yes.
We are not going to be able to build everybody an RDP house, an RDP house. That we need to own up to.
Yeah.
The second thing we need to own up to, if we are not going to be able to do that, how do we then make sure that informal settlement, at least you're able to formalize services as much as but at least let me make sure onale strata onale metsi le mabone a tsenang ka mo jarateng o bona le prepaid you must be able to then pay. How you must be able to then build for yourself. That's what we've been saying all along. And when I said that in 2015, I bampelela no wena party ya gago o nyaka go bona batho ba borna ba banna ba sokola ba irang ba ranke lebella gona yanong how many informal settlements di godile. This is the kind of thing when we talk about a master plan and we're talking
yes.
you're able to then see this thing or no. If on a gap 1.150 but and you're only able to build 30,000 houses, it means on next year in fact so what do you do then? Let me find alternatives.
Yes.
Let me find pieces of land I can then say let's meet with the private sector. Let's meet with some of the big companies that didn't think. BMW. Say to BMW, okay, this as part of your social investment program. Are you able to then assist in training young people from Garangua in learning how to do construction work? We will partner them with a big company. Run this business so that they can build and build for themselves. That is how we need to be thinking. That's how you're going to get the economy going. Singapore, 30 years ago, Singapore was in the same state area in
Yes.
Go and look at Singapore right now. Because it had leaders that said we are not going to be populist. We are not going to be leaders that give everybody everything that they want. But ultimately will give people what they need. Gona yaanong ditlakala kwa le dustbin ya gago gore dustbin ya go e tletse ko Singapore, you'll get a message on your cell phone.
Yeah.
That dustbin ya gago e tletse. You will never hear gore hona le motho ba mo thuntshitseng go Singapore. You'll never hear that, because once somebody shoots, the cameras, they are all over. They will be able to pinpoint ko le shata le tswang ko teng. They will be able to pinpoint gore you know ke mang ana leng what we call bullet residue mo matsong a ga. How thuntsa o gona le
Yes.
they're able to. I saw that with my own eyes. Before Luena o tlo itse gore ka tsene ke letsatsi la ditlakala la o tsama la ro bantshe ditlakala. Dustbin ya gago is already reported somewhere gore no ke tletse, because they call weighted bins. It's when you're able to introduce all these nice gadget things, when you've taken care of the basics. But safety and security is there. That's why then you're then able to then say, once we've done all these basic things, can we talk about all this nice to have? That's what you do. Taiwan, same thing. Taiwan has now got in Asia has got one of the biggest number of billionaires and millionaires, but living next to each other. Why? Because they've always said, no, when we do mixed development, then if we have development yes, but we are going to build and develop in a way it's inclusive. We understand. That's what we need to be copying. That's what we need to be talking to. And I think as a country, I'm hoping that one day we will have a conversation with some politicians. They are ready to leave this ideological issues aside and say, what is best for South Africa and how do we get there? These are the left, these are the right, these are the this, these are the that. There are somebody who is saying, but I can't eat left or right. I need bread on my table. I need to send my child to a school the kind of education I talk. I need to make sure I need to make sure if I'm how many people are killed social on a weekly basis of late?
It's just scary. Steve Biko, we are back to what those days of this Biko, where he says that, growing up in a township and making it at least up to the age of matric, then you know that you have made it.
But that's not, I don't think that was the dream, Steve Biko. I don't think that was the dream in Nelson Mandela. I last year when I was debating Lentate Makura, I said, unfortunately, you are going to go down having not contributed to the dream of Nelson Mandela. And most of our politicians are going to go down having not contributed.
Say more on that.
You need people to contribute to the dream. I always say, remember the dream that you had in 1994, how you vote. You had a dream, my kid will not have a future like mine. But when I it was better. It's sad to hear that.
Not true.
When somebody tells you it was safe, we had work and safe. I'm not talking about the terrorizing black people and all of that. That was there, but I'm talking about safety and the community. And there was that level. We own our community. We were safe amongst our community. But over and above that, there was the element you would work. My kids bad say no tshwariwa no tsama mo strateng kana go ela ba or no kanto and ari how say school no latiwa. I remember a friend of mine who hired kukile re misa school because there was those things you need to own accountability.
Yes.
Ha no tsena mo spetleleng sona se se releng ka mo sona, it was shiny.
Yeah.
It was clean. The gardening is clean. Security is on top of their game.
Yes.
Hona yanong ho tsena mo ke matsapa.
Yeah.
O kopana le pothole fela ha o kena fela.
Yeah.
And I am saying these are some of the things that we're gonna need to have a serious conversation around and say, how are we contributing to that dream year 1994?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are we relegating it to the Dasbinster history? When they came up, 2010, I remember I was in Parliament. Trevor Manuel came, but we introduced this thing called the National Development Plan.
Yeah.
And they were saying, no, this is our plan for the next coming 20 years.
Yeah.
But no, by 2030, this plan must have been implemented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haneki debate that what have you achieved? Of the things that in this national development plan, what has been achieved?
Yeah.
Dololo. In fact, by Libet's go fair. There's nothing that we're talking to Honayano.
Yeah.
We must learn from people that have done this successfully. China has a 100-year plan.
Yeah.
By a 100-year plan. If you go and ask Mwanat and school, one ruta part of what is the plan.
Yeah.
What is, they call it the Great Wall. They teach you what is our plan to be a dominating country.
Yeah.
In the world. They call it to be the next polarity.
Yeah.
So Babatla Hoba the next force, a dominator. But then they know in what sectors they want to dominate. They start teaching at a curriculum.
Yeah.
So you then say, okay, kitlo ruta ngwana o computer because of this child must know how to program.
Yeah.
By the time I talk high school, already can program.
Yeah.
So where university becomes just an addition.
Yes. That they excel.
Yes, o knows every component of a cell phone. These are things that they've said from the time we're building a plan about the greatest.
Yeah.
Technology wise, our country ever Peter. Apollo is a product and a design. Yeah, America.
Yeah.
But Apollo iriwakai ko China.
Yes.
Some of the great components studio and say I'm sure if I point out anything, it has a stamp somewhere of that. That's the dominant cerebral Africa, South Africa, we have a great opportunity of recapturing the dream. In 1994, and then in the 15 to 20 years, in Africa, the flights will fly all the way from Dubai, all the way from the east and all of that. They will not land anywhere. Nigeria. No fly out to South Africa, and then connect from here. Go. We don't even have our own airline as
Yeah. Oh, you never connect this thing of connecting to Dubai and or either is
now,
Dubai or Heathrow.
Yes, when you fly, Ethiopian Airlines have taken over. I had to fly Kinekia. I had to go to a number of countries. We had to go to Seychelles. We were in Addis Ababa. We had to go to Morocco. Ethiopian Airlines, spend a number of hours in Addis Ababa. You can do shopping. That is bringing in economy into your country. Or yes, you might not be, your destination might not be here.
Yes.
But this is what we are going to make you do. The Arabs are doing that. Go Emirates, go Dubai. When you fly Oyaku US or Oyakai, if you're flying their flight, about Kuamo, you fly overnight, you land in Dubai, you spend 4, 5, 6 hours ka kwale, ba ikile mall ka mo airport. They know where you'll spend money.
No,
Now, I'm taking you back to that thing, we had one of the greatest opportunities, and we still have. We just need to rethink how do we build a South Africa. And this is why I'm saying to you, part of what we're gonna need to do is to have a conversation about Tubalo are saying, how do we rebuild a South Africa that works? Leave politics aside. How do we rebuild a South Africa that works? Are we able to all commit to that plan? Which means we are not going to be popular. We are not going to be saying things just because we want to please people. But we are going to do things that, even if it makes us unpopular, people will thank us in later. 15, 20 years' time. When Banabarona inheriting a country, you'll be very proud to leave them behind.
Well, you talked a lot about the plan, and I'm sure Premier will say, but we are actually delivered the State of the Province address premised on the plan, this plan called Growing Gauteng 2030.
Again, when you introduce plans, your plans needs to have timelines set up, and you're able to then say, how much have I been able to achieve? I like the fact that you even remember what the name of their plan is. But can we then go and ask, part of growing the GG Gauteng growth plan, GGP 30, was that they were going to ensure that we build schools and classes of the future. We build clinics of the future. We build road infrastructure of the future. We have less dependency on electricity from ESCOM. We have policemen and women that are on the beat every day. We have an economy, especially township economy, that is, what is the word Makura used to, that is exciting, that is vibrant, that is moving. And I'm saying to you right now, 1 in 3 people in South Africa, and it's even more when we come to Gauteng, are not working. Our young people, not only are they not working, but they are finding themselves every day becoming more and more unemployable. Because, the statistics, if you have spent a lot of time, the harder it becomes for you to miracle. So, if you're, at least if you have some training initiatives and you're volunteering here and there, then your chances increase. But if you are sitting, then the chances to miracle are very slim. This is why even when they talk about unemployment, but they've already given up looking for employment. You're already writing them off. That's what we now need to then say, how do we then address these particular issues going forward? So perhaps one day what you must do is to then say, can we have a round table even here in studio and invite people from different sectors and say, can we talk about how do we build a South Africa that is moving forward? How do we build an economy, an education system that is resilient? How do we make sure, or we can even copy from what happened during apartheid? I said this to Gauteng Lesufi when he was still the MEC. I said, Afrikaans is the only African language that a child can learn from crèche up to a professor level learning in Afrikaans. The only African language. Arno is not African. No, where else does Afrikaans get spoken? It's not anywhere else. It's only here.
It is African. It is
now,
South African.
Yes, I'm saying it's the only language that a child can go and learn in Afrikaans from crèche up to Afetsa, thesis or our professor. What we needed to do is to then say, and by the way, I had the Afrikaners. It told me like the English. The first university in South Africa was an English university. Wrote. Are we able to then say, what is it that was done right that we can emulate and build on? We used to have the teacher colleges,
Yeah, closed down for...
Why? Let's revisit that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's revisit what happened to our teacher colleges. Let's visit what is happening to our technical high schools.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not everybody.